Hello, everyone. Today I'll be talking about the impacts of climate change on the Pacific walrus. We'll explore how a sea ice loss affects their survival, their role in the Arctic ecosystem, and why conservation efforts are so important. The Pacific walrus is a large Arctic marine mammal that depends heavily on sea ice for its survival. These walruses feed on clams, mussels, and other invertebrates on the ocean floor. Because they rely on specific habitats and diet, they are particularly vulnerable to environmental changes in the Arctic. Sea ice provides walruses with critical resting platforms between dives. It offers safe locations for mothers and calves and gives them access to shallow feeding grounds. Essentially, sea ice is not just a surface for walruses, it's a foundation for their survival and reproduction. Unfortunately, climate change is shrinking the Arctic's summer sea ice. As a result, walruses are increasingly forced to rest on land along the Arctic coast rather than on floating ice. In the United States, the Pacific walrus is classified as a species of concern, which highlights the serious threat that sea ice loss poses on walruses. When walruses gather on land, thousands of individuals can end up crowded together. This overcrowding increases the risk of deadly stampedes, particularly for calves and juveniles. They also face more interactions with humans and predators, which can further threaten their survival. Historically, walruses could rest on drifting ice above their feeding ground. Now they must travel long distances to find food, which uses more energy and reduces their survival and reproduction rates. Additionally, their prey, invertebrates, depend on nutrients from algae that grows on sea ice. As the ice disappears, food becomes less available or shifts geographically, making foraging more difficult for walruses. These changes put walruses populations at risk. Calves and juveniles are most vulnerable at crowded coastal haulouts. Adults face challenges in obtaining enough food, and the stress from these conditions can affect reproduction. Over time, populations fragment could reduce genetical diversity, making it harder for walruses to adapt to future environmental changes. Walruses are not just important for themselves, they play a key role in the Arctic marine ecosystem. Their presence affects predators-prey relationships, and their haulouts provide resources for scavengers and other wildlife. In this way, walruses contribute to the overall health and balance of the Arctic ecosystem. To protect the Pacific walrus, conservation strategies are essential. This includes protecting critical haul-out and feeding sites and implementing climate mitigation to slow sea ice loss. Without these measures, walruses could decline further, potentially moving from species of concern to vulnerable or endangered status. In summary, the Pacific walrus depends on sea ice for survival, reproduction, and feeding. Climate change is forcing them onto land, increasing risk and making it harder to access food. Their decline would have wide-reaching effects on Arctic biodiversity. While walruses may not be the cutest Arctic animal, they are vital for the ecosystem. Conservation and climate actions are crucial to ensure their survival. Thank you for watching. These are my citations, and I'll also link them down below and then link the article that I wrote down below as well. Thank you for watching.